Hello and welcome to the Super Rugby quarterfinals preview brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and just a quick congratulations to the New Zealand cricket team for beating South Africa overnight. So I thought I'd put my cricket jersey on today rather than a rugby jersey. So yes, well done, boys, in that one. I've got no idea how anything else is going on, but some things you just can't avoid on Twitter, and you sort of find out about. But joining me is Stephen. How you doing, sir? Oh, sorry, Steve, not Stephen. Jeez. Are you a Steve or a Stephen?
I'm doing very, very well, thanks. So,
oh, you're cutting out.
Thanks for inviting me back. I don't mind. It's easier. People find that easier to say. It's less syllables. So
it is less syllables, that's true. And I do have a Stephen. So we've got Stephen and a Steve, and it all just messes up in my head. Anyway, so yes, quarterfinals time, rugby. That kind of stuff is going off. Crusaders versus the Highlanders is our first game on Friday night, and we have the two sides out, and it's a strong one from the Crusaders. Havili, Rees, Goodhue, Crotty, Bridge, Moanga, Hall, Reed, Todd, Douglas, Whitelock, Barrett, Franks, Taylor, Moody. That's a pretty impressive lineup, isn't it?
yeah, it's a typical Crusaders lineup, isn't it? I mean, it's good to see good old Arm Franks back. We almost forgot that he even existed in New Zealand rugby for a while there. It's been so long since we've seen him. But, I mean, there's a reason why these guys finished top. There's a reason why they've scored so many points. And there's a reason why they're the team to beat in Super Rugby this season. Such a good team, such good depth. You look at the bench as well. We always talk about the bench. But when you're bringing on guys, game breakers, I guess you could say, like Braden Ennor. That guy is fantastic. And the strength of guys, Nicolao, Tim Perry, Alan Alatoa, these guys, Luke Romano, Jordan Taufua, these guys should start or could start in a normal Super Rugby team. So, yeah, a crazily good team. But, they're going to be tested, I guess, because their recent form, they had the bye last week, didn't they, of course? So, and their impressive, at the time, victory over the Rebels seems not so impressive now. So, do we know really how good this Crusaders team is travelling at the moment?
Yeah, that is. I guess that's the only hope I really give the Highlanders here, because this is pretty much this is pretty much a first choice, or this is a first choice Crusaders team now. There's no one missing or no one jumps out at me as missing from this side. 7 out of the 8 forwards are All Blacks. 6 of them arguably would start, in an All Blacks test. So you've got it is a very, very strong side, and yeah, it's they've got their players back just at the right time. But as you say, players like Franks, especially, also Taylor's to a certain extent, haven't had much rugby recently either. So they may be a little bit undercooked coming into this game.
Well, maybe, but I mean, like we say, the bench is so strong, isn't it? That doesn't really matter. I mean, you spend 40 minutes and you take them off, get some rugby under their belt. By the time you get to the final, they'll be ready to go. So yeah, it's strong from the Crusaders, and you can expect they'll be pretty much at their peak, because like we've talked about in the past, they know when they need to peak. They know the right time of the season. They know the games. They know the pressures. They know what they've got to do. And when you've got all that leadership of players, big game players, I mean, the Kia Reeds, he's led at the highest of all rugby matches. So they know what they've got to do. They know what they're about, and this team will just drag through. And you're right, it's hard to see the Highlanders doing too much to really put them off. But I still do hold hope.
You still do hold hope. Okay, well then, quickly, the Highlanders side is Smith, Naholo, Thompson, Walden, Tompkinson, Ione, Smith, Whitelock, Lenchies, Squire, Franklin, Hemapo, Lomax, Coltman, and Leonard Brown. The one that jumps out there is actually Tompkinson on the wing. He's not really a winger, is he?
No, that's the big one that jumped out to me as well when I was seeing the team announced yesterday. They dropped Tavita, not for injury or anything else like that. He's been dropped purely because they consider Tompkinson a more versatile player and a player better defensively. Which I can see that, but you're not putting I guess a like-for-like and positional sort of play as well. So you've got 3 really good centres out there, similar centres, and I guess they don't have Lee on the bench either from memory, so they've gone with, again, just the 2 backs on that bench. So they're really putting a lot of trust in that Tompkinson's going to do that job for them, and he's going to perform at that level on the wing. which, I mean, it's not the first time. He has played out there quite a bit this season, and those guys have swapped around the midfield and the wing, especially like Walden and Tompkinson. Those guys have been doing a bit of job out there, but don't expect, I guess, something special to happen on that left side. If you want the special, go to the right, and that's where you're going to get it with Mr. Ben Smith, of course, big one back from injury to lead his team to glory in 2019. For the final time, Ben, do it once more for us, my son.
Well, hey, if he does it once more, it won't be the final time. We'll have another go next weekend. But Ben Smith back from injury in this one, which, as you say, they've gone for that 6-2 bench again with Elliot Dixon getting the 23 jersey. It does, to me, it feels a little bit strange because you've got Ben Smith coming back from injury. You've got in basically an entirely fit squad. Only three players missing: Nabrewer, Buckman, and Gatland, who are all had season-ending injuries. So you've got your entire squad to choose from, and then you're going for this 6-2 bench with Ben Smith coming back after hamstring. It just feels to me like I'd want some back three cover because Banks really, he's a fly half and a fly half, isn't he? That's about it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I guess if push comes to shove, you'd have to do the job there, or would you push a guy like Ioane back to 15 and put Banks into the number 10 role? It would look good to see even a Lee, to be the Lee sort of guy, or probably would be best case scenario is Josh Mackay slipping in there because he's rapid. We know that he's adept at fullback, but he's rapid, so you can put him on the wing and he gets a chance to run. He'll just run and just say tackle and run. That's all you need to do, Josh. Just do that, and it's a simple game. It's been a question mark there, but Marty Banks, I mean, you got to have that specialist cover, don't you? If you lose a 10, you don't have a 10 there. Yeah,
I agree. I'd have Marty Banks, but I would have had Josh Mackay or Tavita Lee in that 23 jersey for me.
It depends what game plan they're going to go with, though. It gives you an impression, and we've seen last week with the same sort of scenario, is they're going to go for a very forward-dominating game or a forward-controlling game. So you'd expect that they're going to take the Crusaders up front. They're going to try and match them in the pack. They're going to obviously do a lot of short running, little one-off players off the ruck. So that sort of tactical play. They're going to obviously use the pack and try to dominate there. Who knows what the weather's going to be? That's really going to play a bit of a card into it as well, because South Island, I guess, this time of year is a bit frosty, is a bit not nice. Yep, I mean, North Island, I guess Paul could attest to as well. It's a bit frosty. But yeah, so weather, I guess they're banking on a forward-dominated game, which they're going to try and win by having fresher legs throughout the 80 minutes.
Mano a mano, as it were. So Shannon Frizzell, obviously the other guy, the big name coming off that bench. But as you say, they've got plenty. Yeah, basically they can replace nearly their entire pack off that bench. So expect a big crash, bang wallop from the Highlanders then. So what's your prediction for this one?
Yeah, it's hard to go away from the home teams, isn't it? I mean, I talked about this a little bit in a podcast earlier in the week. We talked a little bit about the quarterfinals with some guys from South Africa. If you didn't see that one, check it out. It was quite fun. And we talked about them how hard it was to go away from the home team in these fixtures, and all the away teams kind of sit in a similar sort of position that they have that slim possibility that on their day, especially the South African teams, could pick up something special. But when you're picking and you want to go off your head and not your heart, which sadly I will have to do and say Crusaders by 8. But come on, Highlanders, prove me wrong. Take every point from Subaru that you like. Get me a semi-final.
Yep, I've gone Crusaders by 7. So we're on the same page there with that one. Then we head over to Argentina for the first ever playoff game in South America, with the Jaguares hosting the Chiefs, which is and Jaguares have had a fantastic season coming into this. We see a return to a lot of their players, and we have Baffelli, Cancelleri, Orlando, De La Fuente, Moroni, Bonilla, Cabelli, Ortego Desio, Kremer, Matera, Lavanini, Petty, Medrano, Creevy and Vivas in there. So a lot of names there that we recognise after last week. They're basically resting quite a lot of players.
Hey, I'll tell you what, this is one hell of a team from the Jaguares, isn't it? This is something really special. I mean, to rest, like you talked about those guys last week, but to just thunder it back and say, well, you seen what we got last week, but how about we lift you back again with a Fally, and we throw in a Maroney on the wing as well, and we bring Venetia back into the starting lineup. And we've got so many great scrum halves. We'll just throw Cavalli out there this time. He's the most experienced. I mean, this team is crazy. Just the experience and the depth that they have. And, I mean, we talk about the Crusaders, but you're looking at guys you're going to bring on as well off the bench with this Jaguares team. You've got Test Cap, the Matoija on the hooker on the bench. You've got Tite Shaparo, another Test Cap. You've got Perotto, another Test Cap front row. Lozana. Oh, that's crazy. The sort of players they can bring on. And even in the backs, Carreras, I mean, he's been killing it out in the wing for them as well. So they're going to come on. These guys are going to be fresh, and they are going to be dangerous. And when you've got guys like Cancelliere, we've seen Maroney, their back line running off Boffelli. I'm just excited to see that guy in action again. He is in tip-top form, and this team is just fantastic.
Well, it is, and they're up against the Chiefs. Now, a big call here, but on Radio Sport the other night, I heard them suggesting that Cooper was the coach of the season, the way he's managed to pull this team around and get them peaking just in time for the playoffs, which, considering people were calling for his head, I know that Michael Pullman has not been a big fan of his. That was a big call.
Yeah, I don't think I'd agree with that. Is that on all of Super Rugby or just New Zealand Super Rugby?
I think it was probably the New Zealand piece, but yes.
Okay, well, I could probably see that. I guess the Blues coaches, you can throw their bin straight away. Crusaders have done what they do, so you can throw them in the bin straight away. As have the Hurricanes. I can see the logic. Who else would you really give it to? No one else has really done something fantastic, have they? I guess they've done what's expected. The Chiefs' terrible start, injuries struck in like they've been every season since. So, yeah, okay, I'll probably give them that. But, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, isn't it, coming against Jaguares' team that just look next level. It
is, and they've still got Sullivan, McKenzie, Nanisatoro, Hatura, Hames, McFinale, Polwart, Jacobson, Allardyce, Brown, Karpik, O'Neill, Nicol, Sue, Falcon. 15 players missing from their unavailable through either under-20s or injuries. So they've just got one change this time with Anson Leonard-Brown is moving out one to the moving in one to the 12 jersey because it looks like Nankivell has probably picked up a bit of a knock. But apart from that, it's the same lineup as last week. So Alamalo, Stevenson, Manu, Leonard-Brown, Wainui, Debrasini, Weber, Suwakalua, Kane, Boshier, Ardron, Ritalik, Ta'avo, Harris, and Molly there. So got some of the big names back. I guess, all the big names, I'd say, apart from David McKenzie. But, depth is going to be the problem with this team, isn't it?
Well, you know what excites me about looking at the team? It's no one in the 15. It's having Mr. Moekiola back, possibly on the bench, bracketed but with Nankivell, whether he's going to be fit or not. But Moekiola is a fantastic, talented player that's could do great things. He's an X-Factor player that can make something happen from nothing, given the opportunity. So I'm excited to see him if he does come out and play. But yeah, it's the best the Chiefs can do. And I mean, they've just about ticked the little boxes that they'd want to do, haven't they? I mean, to get to the playoffs is probably at the start of the season, they would have thought would be a minimum. But the way that they started and went on from there, you've got to say they've got to be happy with how they've ended up. The form of the Jaguares coming into this end of the season, it's not gone well for them. Luck has definitely not been on the side of the Chiefs this season at all. But it's a side that can do a job. And I think they've got players that could upset the way the Jaguares go. But they need to get a bit of an incentive over certain areas. Like, I mean, guys, back row. Obviously, if they can control something there, they could develop something from it. But, I mean, they've got to be sharp. They have to be on top of the game. The outside backs have to not miss. To let anything slip. They've got to not let it all.
Yeah, but to be fair to the Chiefs, they did win 27-30 in this game, this fixture earlier in the season. So they are one of the few teams to have beaten the Jaguares in Argentina. The Lions were the other one. So yeah, they are in with a shout. But I'm going Jaguares by 5.
there's a follow-on stat from that that's even more interesting, is that the home team has never won this fixture. They've met 3 times. The Chiefs have won on the road twice, and the Jaguares, of course, have won on the road once. So, I mean, if that doesn't put a little bit of a 50-50 in your mind, possibly, the Chiefs certainly have the capabilities. But I am definitely backing the Jaguares. I'm excited to see this team, and I want to see more of them as well. So I'm going the home team, the Argentinian Jaguares, to win by 11 points.
By 11, wow. And I will be handing over the duties to Michael, Pullman and Herman, who will be doing post-match reaction to this one. So I won't be there, but do join them. We'll have post-match reaction to the 2 New Zealand games as well, Crusaders, Highlanders, and also this next one, the Hurricanes versus the Bulls. The Hurricanes, it's good to see them. They're giving all their members free tickets for the finals. I think it's a good move. It's not part of your season ticket, but I think it's the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, if you can afford to do it, if you can allow that allocation, then yeah, definitely. You want to get as many people along there as you can. I guess it costs you a couple of bucks. Then you definitely want to have that support in the stadium. So good for them. Good on them. And hopefully they get a few more people just walk up instead, and we actually see a decent crowd at a New Zealand Super Rugby game for once.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they've got pretty much a fully fit squad, apart from the season end, long-term injuries of Lelsey, Asso, Proctor, Matt, that is, and Milner Scudder. The other Proctor is obviously away with the under-20s, but so that leaves us with Barrett, Hooson, Umaga Jensen, Lamapi, Lam, Barrett, Piranara, Evans, Sabia, Princip, Walker Laurie, Blackwell, Tumanga Allen, Coles and Smith. So yes, again, a bit like the Jaguares, rested a whole bunch of players, but back to full strength this weekend.
Yeah, and I guess you've got to say well done to a guy like Peter Umaga Jensen, who's pretty much forced his way into starting that lineup with his great performance last weekend as well against the Blues. So good for him. He was strong. Hopefully he can back that up for the Canes. But it's also good to see a guy like Hooson back in the 14 jumper. He's been in superb form for them. And I mean, conference of them obviously not doing them any favours there. Most things are on their side to get the job done here. And with all their big guns back, you got the Barretts, you got the Piranara combination back together again. You got that back line of charges, and you should expect they should have a night. Yeah,
they should. I mean, we've not got the Bulls lineup yet. I mean, the one game of the season where they don't announce their lineup early. How annoying is that? But I mean, a couple of players. So Jesse Creel looks like he's back to come on tour, but they will be missing. Who else? They're still waiting to see about whether Shark Brits comes back because he has flu. Yes, so some mixed news on the old injury front from the Bulls. But the most important player is Pollard, and as far as I'm aware, he's on the trip. And he's been playing some superb rugby with the Bulls recently.
Yeah, he's the number one key, isn't he, for them? A good number 10 and can glide around even the worst players outside or inside him. So he's massive for them. His not only being there, but his form and continuing on what's been a really good season so far. Don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying he's been poor, but he just needs to keep it going, keep it stepping up. And this is cutthroat rugby now, isn't it? It's the end of days. Don't do this one well, and there's no tomorrow to say we'll be back again to have another crack. So they've got to step up, and it's a big task. It's the African teams. We say it all the time, don't like touring, but I mean they've been better this season. They've been really, really good. Confidence should be on their side. It should be high, and they should be absolutely just definitely looking like they can pull something off here. And if they can, it will be a bit of an upset. But they've got a tough ass to do it.
They have, but they got 2 draws, a win, and a loss on their tour. The problem is that finished just 2 weeks ago. So they then flew back to South Africa, had one game there, which they won rather convincingly against the Lions, and then are flying back out again. So the travel could be an issue. I've gone Hurricanes by 10. What margin have you gone for?
I've gone very, very similar. I've gone Hurricanes by 9 points. But also a fun little fact about this game is they haven't actually played this year. So that adds a little bit into it as well because they don't know what each other are up to. I guess there's no tester from a couple of months ago. So interesting, but I expect the Canes to get the job done.
And then finally, we have the Brumbies versus the Sharks, so the late game on Saturday. So we actually all wrapped up on Saturday. So yeah, no overnights, no late games because we've got Argentina, which is good. Again, no team news for either of these teams, either of these sides. But the Beast is not travelling for the Sharks, unfortunately. So he's going to be out. But the good news is that Kerwin Bosch is fully fit and is back and available. The only question really is, will Robert Dupree actually pick him or not in that 10 jersey? Because that's where he has to be if the Sharks are going to have any chance in this game. The Brumbies, though, they are on a hot streak and have responded to criticism of them being just a line-out maul team to actually be to kind of using their backs a lot more. They still use the forwards first to earn that right in a pretty much an old-fashioned style. But becoming much more of an all-round team, the Brumbies.
Yeah, they've definitely developed that over the last few weeks, haven't they? But I think they're not going to win this game by continuing to develop in that area. They've got to do what they do well. I mean, I said it before. It's cutthroat rugby. There's no point in saying, oh, our midfield didn't function like we would have liked this week. No, you got to go what you do. I mean, I don't care if the Brumbies just maul and go through everything they can. They've got to play to their strengths. It's all right during the regular season. You're on a good run. You can chance your arm. You're up by 40 against the Sunwolves. Sure, that's it. Fine, go for it. But this is the end of days. It all ends here. You don't win. You don't go through. It's too late at an hour mark when you're behind by 15 points to start using it. Then you've got to go out all guns blazing. And use the backs, enjoy it, play it. But you've got to focus on where your strengths are. And how the Sharks deal with that is going to be the interesting point. And to be fair, what Sharks actually turns up, because we never really know, especially on the road, even at home. I mean, I'm lying when I say that, aren't they? It doesn't matter where they play. We don't know what Sharks are going to get. South Africa has been a nightmare to pick this season. And if they turn up, Sharks would absolutely destroy them on their day. They could put them to the cleaners, but the same could easily happen the other way. We could get a 40-pointer either which way. So, I mean, flip your coins. This is a real top-of-the-class coin flipper.
Well, old poll on Twitter says 58% went with Brumbies, 42% with the Sharks. I've gone the same way. I've gone Brumbies by 10. Yourself?
Yeah, I agree. I've gone Brumbies, but I haven't gone by a big margin. I think it's either going to be a 40-point thrashing or it's going to be super, super close. I don't see it's going to be a comfortable, run-out game. It's going to be one team's going to be terrible or they're both going to be even. So it'll either be terribly even or it'll be terribly good. But either way, it's going to be Brumbies by 2. That's my pick. So I just don't know who's going to show up. Hopefully the Sharks do, because I'd like to see a good game. And I'd like to give the Brumbies a bit of a run. But even better, wouldn't it be to see no Australian teams in the semi-final?
Oh, you mean man. Evil. Deary me. So, yes, there you go. That's how we see the 4 games going. As I say, live post-match reactions to the Crusaders versus the Highlanders, the Jaguares versus the Chiefs, and the Hurricanes versus the Bulls on this channel. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and all of that kind of stuff. Don't forget to... Also, you can become a supporter of the channel down below by clicking on patreon.com/DrivingMaul and get access to exclusive videos. Check out Stephen's stuff over at Cornflake or Cornflake's Crib on YouTube and on Twitter. And thank you very much, sir, for joining me.
No worries whatsoever. Hopefully we get some good rugby this weekend. And there's other good news. That's about forgot. No Angus Gardner with referee whistle this weekend. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Yes. So there's been some... let's be honest. There's one interesting officiating appointment, which is they've gone and put a New Zealand referee for the Jaguares Chiefs game. Now, a whole bunch of people will say, hey, he's also an ex-Chiefs player. But to be honest, I think he's refereed so many Chiefs games. I think we can tell he's not a biased Chiefs ref. But it just puts him in a difficult situation. Why he didn't referee the Crusaders Highlanders game, have New Zealand ref for the All New Zealand game, and put Piper, the South African ref, over to Argentina, I don't know. But yeah, it just... Why does Sanzar just open themselves up to these issues?
Sanzar just aren't clever, are they? I mean, we don't even need to go on about the refs. I mean, you could pick a myriad of different things that you can say, why do Sanzar do this stupid idea? But yeah, I mean, it's not clever, is it? I mean, they should look at it straight away and go, something's not right there. Let's get something neutral working in between. I mean, I think he's gone downhill too as a referee since that World Cup snub. He's gone big south. I think I really liked him as a referee at the start of the season. Last season, I thought he was really good at opening, flowing game, exciting games. Tried to keep penalties to a minimum and everything like that. But he's kind of just fallen into the pack a bit. The referees have said to him, the officiating commanders said you need to play a bit more like this, and he's kind of followed their lead a bit. But I don't know. It's a bit of a shame. I did like him as a ref, but he's been leaving me wanting a bit more in the recent weeks.
Yeah, when he got the Rugby World Cup snub, he did say whether he was going to bother continuing refereeing at all. So yeah, as you say, I think it did definitely hit it. Was definitely impacted him when he didn't get that selection. He's very upset by that, which is sad to see, obviously for him. But anyway, enjoy the rugby this weekend, and catch us, as I say, for those post-match reactions. And we'll be back next week reviewing all the action and the Hash Rugby Chat and the All Blacks edition, and then previewing the semi-finals. It just keeps on going and going and going.